Good afternoon. I was about to say morning. That's how you know I'm tired. But good afternoon, ladies. Again, this is Jasmine Clark Daniels. I mentioned to you guys that I will be starting a video blog. This will be the second video that I have done for that blog. So I just want to thank people in advance, you guys in advance, for watching these videos. Some of them will be a little long-winded because of the things that will be discussed, but people that know me know I'm naturally long-winded, whether I'm typing notes or video, whatever. I'm just long-winded. I have a lot to express when that time comes. So, I also want to thank you guys for being so patient with me. I went to dance class on Sunday, and I'm just now getting a video to you guys, and it's what, Wednesday? Yeah, horrible. I'm sorry. Um, but again, bear with me, you guys. I thank you for being with me. I thank you for being patient with me and things of that nature. This video will be, of course, about marriage notes, about my marriage enrichment class. Usually, what I do is I type up the worksheet that they give us, and then I type up, under each bullet point what we covered and in my notes on the actual situation. However, we didn't actually have a formal worksheet this week. So what we did was we kind of went based off of a PowerPoint and based off of the discussions that we had amongst one another. And she gave us a few scriptures to read, this, that, and the other. But mostly, it was my notes that I took. So instead of typing my notes out, I decided to do a video. Hopefully, you guys will be okay with that. I might as well just go ahead and get started. I totally have to be at work in a second. So, so yeah, this is how much I love you guys. Yeah. No, I'm just playing. But yeah. What I have written down is basically it's still my first lady talking. Oh, you guys, before I get into this, I know I have a lot of friends on my list that do not believe in the same thing that I believe in. So I don't want you guys to feel like I'm you know, pushing this on you or making you believe this certain type of way, this, that, and the other. It's nothing like that. If you feel uncomfortable when I'm quoting scriptures or even if uncomfortable watching the marriage videos, period, I completely understand. Um, but yeah, moving forward, I just wanted to address that because this is not done to offend anybody. Moving forward, um, first thing I have on here is of course this is my first lady speaking, so she's speaking to the wives, and her series is not yet done. So for some reason, the wives last longer than the men. I'm upset about that. I'm just saying. No, I'm just playing. But yeah. Um, First thing we are supposed to do as wives is to be a helper. We are supposed to help our husbands be what God intended for them to be. So we're not supposed to be a hindrance to them. We're not supposed to belittle them, talk down to them. I've seen plenty of wives, I've seen plenty of girlfriends, mates, whatever you want to call them, belittle their husbands when they get mad. They're all of a sudden the B word. They're all of a sudden a gardening tool. They're all of a sudden something that's lower than what they so called are. But in many ways, they're kind of, because your mate is a part of you, you're kind of, doing the same thing to yourself. Because if your husband is a B word, then, what does that say about you because you're with them? You see what I'm saying? So we're not supposed to be a hindrance to our husbands in any way. We're supposed to, support them, encourage them to be what it is that God has for them to be. Um, Secondly, this kind of goes with what I said at first, is to respect your husband. You're supposed to value your husband's opinion. Your husband is supposed to feel as if you value his opinion. You're not supposed to just run things by him as, you've already made the decision. You're supposed to run them by him as, hey, is my phone going off? I'm sorry, you guys. Okay. Anyway, you're supposed to run them by him as if you really, he, as his decision matters, what his opinion, well, I cannot talk for some reason, as in what he says will matter. Sometimes we, ask them for their opinion, and then we go and do the total opposite because we don't like what they say or how they feel. But in reaction, I just really cannot talk. In all actuality, um, your husband is supposed to be the head of your household. So what your husband final decision is, we somehow have to submit to that, or we have to come up to with a compromise as to how we're going to do it together, not not just do what you want to do, because that means it's, it's not decent, it's not done decent and in order. um then she goes to speak on the husband's primary needs, and it says self-confidence, they need to be listened to. They need to feel as if, again, this kind of goes back to what I said, they need to feel as if their opinion matters. A lot of times, a lot of times as women, we discussed this in class as well. A lot of times as women, when our husband is saying something, if we don't never really, some women don't give their husbands a chance to really get all they have to say out. If they come out and they start off wrong, because we think we know our husband so well, we stop it right there and we kind of cut them off and be like, nope, well, don't even go there, because you see what I'm saying? Just as women, we kind of do that. So we have to learn to talk to each other and not at each other. You see what I'm saying? Fight our battles. We have to fight our battles together and not fight each other trying to fight the battle separately. You see what I'm saying? That's a big thing. Also, a husband needs to feel companionship. This was a funny one to us because my first lady spoke on how husbands need the same thing that we need, such as affection. They want to feel wanted. They want to feel needed. They want their reassurance just like we do. And sometimes we're so stuck on getting it for ourselves that we don't give it to our husbands. And uh, um, my first lady spoke on how a lot of the men tend to feel like they no, a lot of the men tend to act like they don't want to feel needed, or they don't need to feel needed, or they don't need their ego stroked, or they don't need to be hugged up and kissed and, like that all the time. And they may act like that, but reality is that they are, and they like it. So, with that being said, a guy in the class spoke up. A guy in the class spoke up, and he was like, "Man, that's so true." He was like, "Because my wife will, she'll just rub my beard and this, that, and the other, and she'll kiss me on my beard." And inside, he's like, "Oh, my wife just did this, that, and the other." But outside, he's like, like, it is what it is. You see what I'm saying? Like, I wish she would leave me. I wish she would leave me alone. But on the inside, he really likes it, and it makes him feel wanted, and he likes that feeling. But and then he said he wants to be able to work on that, because he feels like it kind of stops the reaction, because the more he acts like she doesn't want it, the more he acts like he doesn't like it, the more she kind of stops doing it, when our reality, he does like it. You see what I'm saying? So my first lady decided to ask him the question of, do you think that do you think that it lowers your guards? Why do you not act as if you like it? And he was like, well, no, I don't think it makes me less of a man. I don't think it does this, that, and the other. He was like, I don't know. I just do it. He was like, I don't know. I just don't show that I like it. And he said in his pictures he doesn't smile, but in reality, he's happy that he has his wife. In reality, he's happy that, he's in a picture with his wife, and his wife is all smiling, this, that, and the other, but he just doesn't see himself smiling. You see what I'm saying? So I was glad that he was there to give that viewpoint, because a lot of us have men have men that are incarcerated. Of course, we have men that do not like to smile. We have men that feel as if that shows a sign of weakness, or we have a man that feels that they just don't do it. So when he spoke up, that kind of gave me that viewpoint of things, because he was saying that, it's not, he doesn't know what it is. He just doesn't smile. He doesn't act like he likes things. When his wife does stuff for him, he's like, oh, I love my wife, but on the outside, it never shows. So, when they spoke on that, that kind of hit home for some people. And my first lady ended up telling him that he needed some professional help. We were laughing and playing, of course, but that's where that went with that. But basically, he ended up letting us know that we really do, that men really do like to feel needed. They like to feel appreciated. They like sweet, mushy things, even though they may not say it. In addition to that, they said, what did we cover? Oh, we should be our husband's number one fan. We should be their cheerleader. We should be at home with the when they come home with the pom poms and the who loves Kurt D? Yes, I do. I love Kurt D. How about you? Cheer, cheer going for our husbands. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if nobody is gonna cheer that man on, it should be his wife. So, you never know what he's dealing with when he's at work. You never know what he's dealing with. Well, in our situation, you never know what he deals with on the inside that may want him to just come home and just be with his wife. And he may need that encouragement. And it's our job to know and to have a feel for our husbands when they need that encouragement. Even when he's wrong sometimes. It's not saying to condone his behavior, but as his wife, we have to pick him up and let him know that he can do better, that you believe in him, that you appreciate him and what he does, things of that nature. Um, she also went on to say that a man should not have a problem coming home. And that was a big one because a lot of women feel as if a lot of problems happen when a man comes home and they come home to chaos. They come home to drama. They come home to dinner not being made. They come home to the place being a mess. They come home to them nagging about what they being, where they been, how they been, doing it and what they've been doing it for and things of that nature. So it's never really a peaceful atmosphere that they come home to. So therefore, a lot of the men just tend not to want to come home. They tend to want to work later hours, or they tend to want to go out and hang with their friends, family, things of that nature, rather than coming home. And it should never be that way. They should always want to come home. If your communication is on point, then you will know where your husband is. You will know things of that nature. So once he comes home, dinner should be made. That should have already previously been discussed, whether you were going to cook dinner for that night, whether this, that, and the other. That type of stuff should have already been discussed, so that way when he comes home, it's not a chaotic thing. He's coming home to peace. He's coming home to a wife that loves him. He's coming home to children that missed him. You see what I'm saying? It's more of, he should feel like a king of his castle once he comes home. Let's see. They also said that for every marriage, there should be a single person that looks up to your marriage and wants to model your marriage. There should be someone in your life that is like, hey, when I get married, I want to have what you and your husband have. Somebody somewhere should be able to say that about you and your relationship. And my first lady continued to say that they went to a play with some girlfriends the other night, and it was dark in the play, so they couldn't really see, but they had their programs. And when her husband took out his program, to read it, the wife automatically got the flashlight and was signing it on, the program so he could see it. And later on, when the wife got the program and wanted to read it, the husband automatically got the flashlight and signed the cell phone on that. You see what I'm saying? To make sure they just automatically complimented each other. They didn't have to say a word, but they complimented each other. And that's what that single friend said to her. She was like, I just want to have a husband that compliments me as well as your husband does. And there should always be a single person around you that models your marriage. If not, then you need to fix your marriage so that someone will come along and be like, hey, I want what you have. You see what I'm saying? They also went into they also went into loving your husband. You have to accept him as he is. You have to, and this includes, ladies, this includes committing to a mutually fulfilling sexual relationship. This is important because when a woman resist intimacy. The husband tends to feel isolation. They tend to feel rejection, things of that nature. And when you mess up a man's ego, when you mess up a man's pride, then you have problems within your marriage, because that's when infidelity comes in. When they don't feel like they can come home, when they don't feel like they can have sex with the woman that they married, then that's an issue. So we spoke on that. What caught me off guard? What caught me